Hello, my friend. You asked me whether existential therapy is a right brain kind of therapy. And I replied to you that existential therapy uses the whole brain, my friend, because life has lots of many roles and many functions, and we need to consider all of them. And moreover, we need to focus on how all this complexity, as it works in the brain, is the same as the way it works out there in the world. So, if you look at your brain from a side view, you will know, if you have some idea about how the brain works, that there is a frontal lobe or lobes here. There is a parietal lobe or lobes there, temporal lobes here, the occipital lobe here at the back, and then below that, the brain stem going into the rest of your nervous system. Now, the frontal lobe, you're probably aware, is the kind of organizer of your brain. It handles the executive function, decision making, planning, how you organize your personality, your habits, your commitments. It also contains the motor cortex, which controls how you move and allows you to move in a voluntary, deliberate way. The prefrontal lobes are even more important. They are a more fine tuning of that executive function, allowing you to make connections in associative tissue, to make meaning, to understand things, to have a conscience. So that's all extremely important. And obviously, existential therapy is very much based in frontal lobe exercising and prefrontal lobe tuning. The parietal lobes are also very important because they are your sensory processing hub. They manage your kind of awareness of space, knowing where your hand is without looking at it, interpreting touch, pressure, pain. You know, it's all about organizing the senses. The temporal lobe, you can imagine that it's very important to tune into all of that when you try to understand your life. The temporal lobe, so that area around your ears into the brain, is about auditory processing, so hearing and language comprehension as well. And it's also involved in making memories. And then that occipital part here at the back, which is the area dedicated to visual processing, to interpreting what you see, light, color, and movement as well. But of course, there's more to it than that. Beneath the cortex lie structures that keep you alive in many other ways. So, for instance, the cerebellum, the little brain, which sits at the base, which doesn't initiate movement but fine tunes it, ensuring your balance, your posture, your coordination. The more vitality you have, the better all these functions will be operating, and the more you will feel in charge of your brain and of your body. So, of course, we have to work with the whole of human existence. The brainstem, of course, is included in that too, because that's your autopilot, if you like. It connects to your spinal cord and it controls all your involuntary functions, your breathing, your heart rate, your sleep cycles, everything that your body does for you that you don't even have to think about. Isn't that amazing? And then I should mention the limbic system, not just one location, but a whole loop of locations, including the amygdala you may have heard of, which is your emotional alarm system, and your hippocampus, which is your memory storage system. And so all of that helps you feel things and process those feelings. Now, of course, it is true that there is lateralization in the brain usually, and that it makes a difference whether you're left or right-handed where certain functions take place. Overall, the left hemisphere, so this part of your brain, specializes, but it's just specialization, it's not exclusivity, specializes in logical, linear, and verbal processing if you are right-handed. So if you are right-handed, the logic is happening there, and it is the home of language for you. And it handles grammar, vocabulary, the meaning of words. It helps you to do logical reasoning, step-by-step mathematical calculations, deductive reasoning, all sorts of things like that. It helps you look at the trees rather than at the forest. And it also helps you with your right side control. So it crosses over. Everything you're doing on the right side will be processed in the left hemisphere of the brain. And the right hemisphere of the brain will be processing everything you do on the left side of your body. So again, it crosses over. And also, it specializes in other things. This is if you're right-handed. Spatial awareness, 3D rotations, geometry, navigating through space, emotional intelligence, interpretation of a voice, facial expressions, and the emotional context of a conversation, creativity and intuition, pattern recognition, music appreciation, recognition of important aha kind of moments, and also, as I said, left side control. But my friend, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere are both equally important. And for most people, they work hand in glove. They work together. And how do they do that? Through the amazing connectivity of the corpus callosum, which is like a bridge between them, a very heavy bridge, a very thick bundle of fibers which connects the two sides so that they know what they are doing and they work together. So there is no way you can just be right brain or left brain or just in your parietal lobe or your frontal lobe. The brain is a whole system and every part of it is needed and every part of it works together with the other parts. And that's the beauty of it. It's just a fantastically smooth functioning organ that is incredibly specific and that can be trained or it can, lose its functionality. It depends on how well you use it. So your vitality, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, comes from using this amazing piece of equipment that is linked in a holistic way with the amazing piece of equipment that is the overall body. The whole body, through the central nervous system, is wired in to what is happening in the nervous system in your body at all points, in all places. So it all connects. It's all necessary. What we have to do is to create an inner harmony, my friend. An inner harmony that allows us to feel that the whole thing works together smoothly And that is when we feel at ease. That is when we feel good about ourselves. And that also includes, of course, the whole nervous system, as I said, because we have to attune to the cycles of your life and the different moments in the day. And your gut will help with that too. It's part of that nervous system as well. And it will keep you aware of your visceral needs and adjust all those bodily functions. And then finally, I should mention another thing, which is the default mode network, the DMN, which is what happens when you sort of switch off and you go into a meditative state. And this still works in the background. It is where your inner monologue takes place. It isn't just one part of your brain, it's a whole circuit, again, a bit like the limbic system, that becomes active when you're not focusing on anything specific. Mind wandering, self-referential self-reflection. And that is something you can train to use to create a different mode of being for yourself and to be more at ease and more at peace in your body, in your mind, in your brain, in your soul, in your spirit, as a being living in a world. An existential therapy will try to take all of those aspects of human existence and a few others that I won't include because I don't want to complicate matters too much, and help you take charge of this amazing inner cosmos of which you are the captain and which you can allow to function fully, to dream, to wonder, to be at peace, to be active, to deal with problems, and to survive, and to find quiet times when you need them so that you can rest, restore, recuperate, and sleep so that you can wake up the next morning with this whole amazing system doing its job for you once again. That's what existential therapy would aim for, to help you do that, to deal with all those aspects of your being in a harmonious way, bringing it all together for your peace of mind, my friend. I hope that helps you think about what existential therapy is. It's a whole brain approach. Take care.